Hello, my name's Eury.
And hello, my name is Jenny, and welcome to the final episode of the Conscious Cuppa podcast, Season 4, where we've been exploring the Divine Feminine.
Curious about what she has to do with creating your reality, realising your dreams, and being and having what you do want? Then stay tuned to find out more, because Jenny and I will be sharing what she means to us.
Yes, we've been asking our fabulous guests, what does the Divine Feminine mean to you? And today we're going to be giving you a hint of what the Divine Feminine means to us.
So Jenny,
what does she mean to me? She's this maternal figure. She's the one who knows what I need when I fall over, when I hurt myself. She bends down to wherever I am, and she picks me up and kisses me better and dusts me off.
Aww.
And she makes the outcome inevitable. And she inspires my confidence in God. That is to say, my confidence in good, which is in me. As my divine partner, she gives me her full loving attention when I need her capacity to change. And she asks nothing in return. Just bring the seed of the idea, the ideal, and with her infinite possibilities, her infinite intelligence, what a wonderful world she has in store for me. No strings attached, totally unconditional. I mean, gosh, wow. And she calls me from outside, like a kid, but also like a partner, through that open window, inviting me to come in, eat, be full, be filled, be fulfilled. That's what she means to me. And for you, do you have an acronym?
So I do. So for me, the Divine Feminine is the sage, the womb, the infinite storehouse. She is the inspiration that allows me to greet each day and, like Jenny said, overcome any trials and tribulations, because I know she's got me. She's absolutely got me. And she really helps me navigate this world. She helps me explore in places that I wouldn't usually explore. She's the voice that calls me both into my dream world and out of my dream world. She's just this real settling voice. When I feel disturbed, if I can remember to go to her, she will calm me. So a bit like you were saying about dusting yourself off. Yeah. I really like that. So my acronym for my Divine Feminine is Queen. She's quintessential, unique and unparalleled. She is an explorer, an evoker. She is an elevator lifting me out. She is navigating newness for me. So that's Queen.
Lovely. I love that.
What time is it? I think it's Conscious Cuppa time. Put the kettle on, love.
We made this podcast to big up this overlooked, underappreciated, infinitely intelligent divine mind who resides in all of us. So, for the last time, grab a brew,
take a pew, and let's give the Divine Feminine her due.
There is now overwhelming evidence that the cuppa is in fact conscious.
So this is what we do. We asked 30 people to pick from 13 lollipop sticks and gave them 5 minutes to talk about the subject written on the stick. This episode, Jenny will be discussing reaping the benefits and happy endings for all. And you'll hear from our guests, Naomi, Caro, Mandy and Sam.
And we'll be closing this episode by returning to the stick compassion. We have a part 2 with our guests Katrina, Ichaso, Naomi again, Amit and Mike. And midway through the interviews, we'll be sharing the last golden nugget from Neville Goddard's book, Feeling is the Secret.
You can send in your questions and suggestions to consciouscuppa@gmail.com. That's CONSCIOUSCUPPA@gmail.com.
So Jenny, what have we got to slip and insert? What have we got to slip and insert? What have we got to slip? Wah! Then slurp and slip and slop and slip. Yes.
We have, courtesy of Ichaso, you're going to hear from later in the episode on compassion, and Jen, who you would have heard in previous episodes, including Daydreaming and Getting in Touch. They both went and got some elderflower flowers from the downstairs park here in Catford and from our own front garden, or back garden, and made elderflower champagne.
Wow.
And elderflower cordial, which is what we're going to be drinking with sparkling water. And Eury, you have brought from the local greengrocers on Broccoli Rise.
Yeah, we saw this beautiful fruit, and it's a bit strange looking on the outside. Casual name is snake fruit, but it's
That's the one with the scaly skin.
Yeah, on the right. Salak fruit, that's called, and they're both from Southeast Asia, and the second fruit is a mangosteen. So we're going to give those a go and see what they're like. So
you've had a sniff. You always have a sniff.
It's a very fruity smell, and it's got a big brown seed in.
Which I couldn't cut through.
It's nice. I like it.
What does it remind you of?
Nothing I've ever had before. It's kind of, the texture's partly apple because it's crunchy, but not quite appley.
So that's the dragon one. What about the other one?
Snake, not dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Closely related.
Yeah.
So the mangosteen.
Oh, yeah, it's like a sweet lychee.
Oh.
That's really good, isn't it?
More of those. Yes, like you, mangosteen. Very nice.
And for our elderflower, let's have a good old taste of this.
Oh, look, lovely. Loads and abundance of flavours for our last episode.
That's refreshing.
Oh, it's lovely.
Like iced tea. Cheers. We hope you've got something wonderful in your glass, in your flask, in your conscious cuppa. Brew Crew.
Reaping the benefits. Happy ending for all. That's a weirdo. How are they even related? Reaping the benefits. Happy ending for all.
I guess we were thinking of the harvest that comes in.
You don't have to connect them. You can answer them independently, for sure.
Reaping the benefits. It sounds really capitalistic to me. It's like, okay, someone's plotted a big enterprise and then is reaping the benefits of this whole investment scheme. I mean, it is related to agriculture, clearly, right? So there's a lot of toiling the ground and putting the seeds and doing all the weeding, spraying all the pesticides, and in the end, you can reap the benefits you can harvest. I mean, maybe there's also a lot of like not so down to earth aspects of that. I think I have problems relating to the word benefit because for me that's really something different from harvest. Benefit is something that you plotted, like some kind of like like personal gain.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe it's more productive to think of it as a communal gain, let's say. So it can also be that, I guess. It can be a communal enterprise where like a group of people has made an effort to come up with something collectively and in the end is able to reap the benefits of, let's say, communal housing scheme where everyone's put in a lot of work to organize the space and to be able to buy it or whatever to build a communal space. And then that sustains the life of the community. It's a much more productive way for me to think about that. Which provides the happy ending for all, obviously. Yeah, I think for me, these two things are positive when they are shared. So it's about sharing benefits. And that maybe also a lot of small individual powers, they add up and are more than the sum of all of them together. So I think that's the benefit. That is the benefit of a shared effort. That it is more than so many individual efforts. I think that's where the happiness is, perhaps.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you.
I can just say what comes to mind. Happy ending for all. It makes me think about choices in life. It makes me think about honoring maybe my needs, and that might mean that there are other openings for other people. So I think in a way making choices will have an impact on others and there will be consequences, but in a way you can't always take everyone, it's nearly like you can't think about everyone at the same time. I feel like sometimes I'm in that mindset where I maybe think too much about everyone else, but actually if I honor my needs, other people can look after themselves as well, and maybe there will be a happy ending for all. So that's something I'm thinking a lot about, but also finding it quite difficult, to find that balance between the collective and being connected, because we're all connected in many different ways, and we're all connected, but also honoring who I am and where I am. And also thinking, it makes me think about what's possible from one specific moment or one specific place. I'm thinking about how, for example, I'm affected by the news or things that are being said around me. I'm thinking about where is the power? Where do I have power to change and affect, and where do I have less of that? But again, things are entwined. But in a way, I wish happy ending for all. Now that I'm reading it, it looks good. But I also know that, it's not just a simple happy ending for all. I think it's happy ending for all is actually a big adventure of ups and downs and whirlwinds and volcanoes erupting and all of the above. So that's my take on happy ending for all. And reaping the benefits. Reaping is the word for, it's agricultural, right? It's kind of reaping the harvest. It makes me think of the cycles of life. It makes me think of the seasons. I think I still have a complex relationship with autumn and winter. I always find myself a little bit down and a little bit low in energy. But I think I've grown, maybe as an adult, I've grown also to kind of really, again, respect the different stages of life and therefore the different seasons. So I think reaping the benefits, it's about embracing all the seasons for me.
You're listening to Conscious Cuppa.
Happy ending for all, and the reverse side, reaping the benefits.
I think you might be the first person to have picked that.
Okay, so happy ending for all. Let's start with that one. Happy ending for all is for me, when I look at that, I'm it makes me think of, let's start from the end. Kind of a bit like Neville Goddard. Start from the end, imagine from the end, and let the universe work for you. Don't fuss and fight about it. And it's taken me a bit of time to sort of try and do that, because it's kind of letting go of control, really, isn't it? It's kind of letting go of control, because people think, think from the end. And then we used to try and, I want to do that, or I want to have this job and that. What you would do is you try and control that path. But for me, happy ending for me is say what you want, imagine it, feel it, and then let it go. Absolutely let it go. Because you know what? We've all got a happy ending. Everyone's got a happy ending. But what I think we've tended to do in life, on this plane, on Earth, whatever it means to you individually, is we've tried to control everything. Mm-hmm. And then when you do realise that actually there's the energy that does it for you. I mean, obviously you're co-creating.
Yeah.
I believe you're co-creating, but there's an energy that does it for you. Feel it, say it, and let it go, because it works, and it also works both ways. So if you go happy ending, you've got to be positive. Don't be negative, because as we know, it doesn't go, that's not what you want, or that. It will take whatever you say. So be positive, happy ending for all. Don't have doubts about it. You've got to go all in, I think, with the positivity, and don't have doubts and stuff. But it's there for everybody. It doesn't decide. It's not it doesn't discriminate. The happy ending is for everybody. So that for me is happy ending for all. And reaping the benefits. With reaping the benefits, for me, that's, you know what? The benefits are you have the power within us. Every single one of us has the power. When you got to recognize that how you're this super being on this plane that has been given the same benefits that you might look at and say, say for instance, God, or whatever, again, individual wants to have the name represented as. We all have the same given God rights, or the given God energy to use it and get those benefits. So reap the benefits. So reaping the benefits for me is, again, just like what the reverse said, think what you want, believe that you will receive it, and it will come to you. And it will come to you in very, different ways. Some people will say, I want a financial gain, etc. Things can come in all different ways. You might go somewhere and all of a sudden out of the blue, the restaurant said, no, that's fine. You don't need to pay for that. Or, you get a bonus that you didn't expect. That's just on the financial side. There's all different sort of ways, go to the airport, you might get upgraded and, you didn't ask for it, but somewhere back there you had imagined that and created it. So there's benefits for everybody. Reaping the benefits of life, the benefits of being here on this plane and recognizing the purposes that you're here for. To me, that's reaping the benefits.
I mean, I've definitely got a subject that I can speak about reaping the benefits, and that is finding's maybe not the right word, but making a core fundamental choice to connect to God, to do God's will rather than my own will. And that is reaping huge amounts of benefit in my life. It's waking up in the morning and the first thing you think about is God, and thinking about God's will, and then really thinking about how can I be of service? How can I go and help somebody else? How can I go and make some benefit to the world, regardless of how I feel or what I want to do? And paradoxically, when one stops thinking of one's own self, like truly stops thinking of oneself and just goes out, to do God's will and to give some benefit of the world, you actually end up receiving what you didn't realise you needed and reaping huge amounts of benefit. So that's my answer tonight. Mm. And then because you're going out and helping people and they're really happy and they've got a lot from what you offer and give to them and give to life, and you end up being joyful because you've done God's work, and there's nothing more joyful than helping other people, you get a happy ending for all.
Darling, would you like a cup of tea?
I'd love a conscious cuppa.
So, Jenny.
Yes.
Reaping the benefits and happy endings for all.
I love the happy ending for all because it starts with once upon a time, doesn't it? Yeah, they all lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
What Naomi was saying about this word benefit, not housing benefit, but I associate benefit with, I think I use that word as good.
Yeah.
Like reaping the good. And that ties in with reaping the good for the community. Yeah. And good and God are synonymous terms for me. So whenever we're talking about God, what we're really talking about is good. The good of you. Everybody's got good in them. And we talked about in the previous episodes the leading up to this recognition, the word that Mandy used, recognizing the gift that you imagined all the way back in episode 1, where you've got the idea as your divine masculine, and here now, this is probably the only part actually that is actually going to be in the physical world, in the world of matter, material, maternal, the materialized, this matrix. This is where you're going to meet the coagulation of the idea and all the different steps it has gone through to get to you and face you, for you to recognize, here you are. This is the good I wanted, maybe the courage, or the goods I wanted, maybe the car. Yeah. This is where the harvest has come in, according to how you've been holding the faith while the divine feminine wove these people to bring that thing to you, the time of the day, the moment that your senses could finally detect, here it is. I am that. I am. Naomi talks about weeding because in the previous episodes, there was this necessity to keep the soil fertile and watered and to radiate the sunshine of a happy heart, to have the courage to do that.
Yeah, I think the weeding, Jenny, is the making sure that you're interrupting anything that isn't aligned with what you do want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Small individual powers, I like that, because the small individual powers that work together to build what we've wanted. I feel that the word power and choice are also synonymous. So all these small individual choices build to make something that we can all share in. And it's indiscriminate. These choices, these powers, these strings, everything is moving towards weaving the world that you want without thinking, well, she's too old, or she's too this, or he's too that. I love how indiscriminate this energy is that brings everything together at the final moment and places in front of you the thing that you've always wanted, whether you had to turn left instead of right, whether you had to go to Birmingham instead of Brighton to get that thing, whether you had to go to the barbers instead of the hairdressers to get the thing that you wanted. Everything has connected, so everybody who needs to is going to play their part, because like Cara said, we're all connected. We're all entwined. Yet, this thing is honouring your own desire, your own personal fulfilled desire. It gave you this desire, and this desire might be to help somebody else, but it gave you the desire to act on. And the honouring of the needs is not just your needs for goods, or even your need for courage, but your overarching need to understand that you have this incredible divine energy, mind within yourself. Because when you do meet your gift, instead of you saying, well, if it wasn't for this person, that wouldn't have happened. That's kind of true. That person was willing to play their part. But what we need to be honouring here is, I have this divine imagination in me that is here to take care of not just my needs, but the needs of my community, of my family, of the global community.
Yeah.
And I am playing my part in other people's stories, and they are playing their part in my story. And this is how we be of service, like Sam says. Every day you're waking up, you're going to have a desire, you're going to have a hunger, and it's going to culminate in you meeting the results of that. If it's Sarah that's involved, it's going to be something good, it's going to be something new, there's going to be change. If Hagar is involved, It just means that you're going to have repeated the thing. Maybe it doubles, triples, quadruples in its severity, but also she's there to keep things as they are if they're running really well too. No need to change it. If it ain't broke, don't need fixing. Let's bring on Hagar. But if it does need the divine feminine's help, her particular qualities to bring something new, let's get Sarah in on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a acronym for us?
I do. The acronym I have for reaping the benefits and happy endings for all is GOTS. You GOTS it.
Guts mean
GOTS.
Game of Thrones.
No.
Okay.
Gaining from seeding and weeding. Out of the blue, living the end. This is for everyone. And service.
Yeah, I like that.
So Jenny, what's your summary here?
I loved your summary. I'm just going to add good or God always ends up giving you huge benefits. Exactly what you didn't realise you needed. Everything is entwined in this adventure of ups and downs. Embrace and respect all of its cycles and seasons. There is a process. The collective efforts of small individual powers, choices, ends in a harvest for communal gain, which means communal good. Use your superpower to imagine the end first. Then let the universe work for you, and out of the blue, there we go again, out of the blue, your gift arrives for you to recognise and enjoy.
Wonderful. Thank you to our amazing guests for their contribution.
And then we're going to go into
Compassion.
Compassion after a
Neville Nugget.
A golden nugget from our mate Neville. Okay, see you on the other side of that.
It's time for a Neville Nugget.
Got one left.
Which is?
Number 9.
Number 9. What do we have? Never entertain an undesirable feeling, nor think sympathetically about wrong in any shape or form. Do not dwell on the imperfection of yourself or others. To do this is to impress the subconscious with these limitations. What you don't want done to you, don't feel it is done to you or another. This is the whole law of a full and a happy life. Everything else is commentary. Similar to the last one.
That feels like real poignant to me.
Well, that was the last one.
Lovely.
And on with the podcast.
On with the podcast.
We're here in South London where the cats and foxes meet over a conscious cuppa. Conscious cuppa.
Compassion for others and compassion for oneself.
Okay.
Obviously, I think compassion for others and compassion for oneself is really important. The thing that I like when I think about like this kind of compassion for oneself and compassion for others, like I think there is something. People often say like that compassion for yourself is like harder, or that you might be more compassionate towards other people and then you're really harsh on yourself. And I think to an extent that's definitely true. Like, but I try really hard to kind of not do that. And I think actually I got much better in recent years to kind of notice when I'm being like, when I have this voice in my head that is just being really mean to myself, and then being like, okay, you know, that's just that voice, and like, let it go kind of thing, or yeah, it's enough now. And I did this, like I started kind of taking notes on every day, just like very brief notes on how I feel, and then kind of like, I guess, mapping it onto my cycle. And that was quite useful because I feel like you can kind of see how there is certain times within the cycle, maybe after ovulation for me, for example, when I have like this dip of like where suddenly this voice comes and it's like, well, you should have talked more to your colleague today at work, like, or that thing that he said, that was outrageous, right? Like, and I kind of try, I mean, I try to kind of be compassionate with myself and say like, okay, it's okay, you know, yeah, it's good to be critical, but, you know, you can also let it go. But I also noticed that, like,
sometimes that voice, it also translates to sometimes how maybe I see other people. So, or like how compassionate I can be with someone who's like maybe very over the top and like very loud, and something that I find like maybe sometimes I cringe about myself, and then I end up cringing about them as well. And then, and I feel like, there's this relationship of like the kind of mean things that I say to myself. Maybe sometimes I also think them about other people. Like I would never say that, but I sometimes catch myself thinking like, oh my God, this talk is so boring or unorganized, or like, I think overall, like in the big picture, I'm relatively compassionate towards others, but I feel like that voice, that critical voice somehow, but it's a kind of, it's not critical in a constructive way, it's like a critical mean voice or something. I can also hear it sometimes about other people. It's like, oh, now she's talking about that again. Yeah. So maybe learning how to be compassionate for yourself can also kind of help you. I don't know. Or maybe the other way around. Maybe in general, just noticing that, okay, this is a kind of critical voice that comes out of somewhere that is not, it's not constructive, it's not very helpful, it's just kind of mean.
Compassion for others and compassion for oneself. I think it's a concept that I wasn't very familiarized with for a long time. And I'm still learning what it is and using it and practicing it, particularly to myself. And I think the place where I am practicing the most and I find it hardest is to get off the self-critical that spreads into critical to others. So it's like, I think by learning to be more compassionate with myself also allows me to be more compassionate with everyone. But this is super new. This is like not something I had reflected on in the past that much. It's like, what are you talking about? We need to be best or perfect, or we need to be just like efficient, and we can't fail, basically. That living with that kind of fear of doing it wrong and being punished for that somehow. And that spreads to us, how we treat others. So it's quite amazing, mind-blowing way of thinking of the relationships that we have to others and ourselves. And it allows for a lot more room for things to go different as you thought they had to. So it's less strict and it's more creative in the end. More chaotic as well, which can be challenging for people who have a preference for things, for example, or have a need of control in some ways because it's the way they find safety. And about me, because I'm talking abstract, but I'm actually talking about myself now. And I find it's really helpful to be around people who are reminding me that I can be more gentle. So compassion is, I translate it also as gentleness. Be more gentle with yourself. Be more gentle with others. Like the places that I'm, like in the city or even at home, where things get more messy or are more stressful than you hope, or like you're on a bicycle and someone's shouting at you, it's like you would shout back, but then how can I be compassionate to this person who's been an asshole or it's been like aggressive, by me not taking that aggression into aggression back, because it's an energy that I don't want in right now. I haven't asked for it. Why should I carry it? By being compassionate, it's like, this person seems to be going through a stressful moment or hard time, or he was scared. Go on me with a car, or like, I don't know.
Collide,
yeah. I was like, oh yeah, they're going through stuff and I give it back. It's theirs. It's not mine. But I don't know if that's compassion. But in a way, compassion implies some empathy and putting yourself in other people's skin as well. And that's the amazing practice, is that it doesn't even need to be mental in terms of intellectualizing, or what are they going through. It's almost from the heart. It's like breathing it, kind of, I am compassionate for you, and not pity of you. But it's different. No? Like, there are very subtle differences there. Now that I'm thinking about it out loud. But very useful practice. And also quite hard sometimes. Time's up! Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Compassion for others and compassion for oneself. I was going to say versus compassion for oneself.
Okay.
But they shouldn't be mutually exclusive, right? I think that's the point. Well, for me, I think they rely on each other.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe there's something really off if you have compassion for others but no compassion for yourself. Maybe that opens up a question or an area where work needs to be done, perhaps. So I'll start with compassion for others, because maybe that's where I would put an emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that already says a bit about me. Sometimes I think that there is a lot of compassion for others that I sense without having the means to express or enact it fully. And I think that maybe is something to think about a bit more. It actually relates to the issue of help that you discussed before. How would you properly help someone in a way that is not imposing? And I think that's similar with like showing compassion for others in a way that doesn't patronize them, or that doesn't sort of like project your own image onto others. I think that is connected to a certain humbleness in the way that you show compassion, or in the way that you express it, or in the way that it materializes, and in the way that you give or share with others. And then there's, I think, a lot of compassion maybe in our world or in the times that we live in that is just there for itself because it cannot be shared, because our relationships to the world are so much mediated by media, images, the news. So there's a lot of compassion that has no expression. I suppose that is just inside oneself, and the way that we perceive the suffering of others through the media. I think that's quite present now at the moment with the war in Gaza. For me, at least, there's a lot of sort of like felt compassion that has no like channel in a way. Solidarity is important in the way that I think solidarity has different components, but there's an emotional component that is compassion. There's a political component that is political alliance and like building of power and emancipation and with other communities. Yes, maybe that's it. And I'm sure there's much more, but let's talk about compassion for oneself. I find that much more difficult, to be honest. Because maybe there's this kind of like ideal of oneself to be selfless, or to be sort of more giving than taking in a way. But I mean, when I rationalize it, I think that both have to be there in a sort of balanced way. So I'm not even sure how to be able to express compassion for myself to the outside world. Maybe it's just something that I don't need to share with everyone. Maybe that's just something that, one has to kind of be at peace with oneself to have a sense of that compassion for oneself. How would I express it? By probably listening to my body, listening to what my mind needs as well. The way that I would express it in this moment in time is to think about how I devote time to myself, for myself. How I manage or micromanage my day. I think that is maybe the sort of thing that comes to my mind, like to just be easy on myself, basically, to avoid stress, because that is sort of like a lot of is quite harmful. Health and well-being, and sort of like a spiritual relationship to oneself, perhaps, or to one's own identity and the way that it relates to others. Yeah.
Good. Lovely.
My thing says compassion for others, and on the other side it says compassion for oneself, and it has a blue top and a kind of orange stripe. So I'm interested in how we sympathize with other people, how we have compassion for other people, how we empathize for other people, what its relationship to solidarity is, what its relationship to sentiment and a kind of emotional relationship with others. I'm interested in this because I've written a book on it, but I'm interested in it because I'm a father, and I would like to believe that I'm a queer feminist father, or at least a feminist father, a father that's open to feminism and queer becoming. So compassion for others and compassion for oneself is something that I associate as well with what my friend Barak Adesolé calls care ecologies. It's often that we think about compassion for others because we live in societies that have kind of charity institutions that are about pity. But if we take this idea of compassion for others and we also link it to compassion for self, and we think about it in terms more of solidarity rather than pity for somebody, and you think about working with other people on things that are of mutual interest and about mutual emancipation, that to me is an important lesson to learn in life and an important lesson to pass down to those one loves.
Compassion for me is about understanding somebody else's behaviour, even if it doesn't make sense to you, or it's converse to what you think is good. And compassion for others for me has always started with having compassion for myself. I find growing up, I've always been quite hard on myself. I'm a bit of a hard charger. I'm like, right, let's keep going. Let's work until your face melts off. Let's do as many burpees as possible. Let's, just doing stuff to extreme and to my own detriment, really. That type of effort is not sustainable over the long term. Like if you work out, like you could do 1,000 burpees, right? But you just be mangled for the next 2 weeks. And though I would say that like as a joke, there's not a lot of compassion because there's not a lot of forward thinking. The thing that strikes me is like we're all the same. We're all pretty similar. Got slightly different stories, but we all kind of want the same things. We all want, we want a bit of love, a bit of affection, a bit of status. We want to be validated. We want a bit of recognition that with a guy we'll think we're a little bit special and different. And I think it's nice to recognise that in other people. Just having compassion doesn't mean that I have to be around that person all the time. Doesn't mean that, and compassion as well means I don't have to fix you, I don't have to change you. I could just kind of think, that's your jam. Like that's the way that you are, and ultimately understanding that the way people behave, it serves them. It serves a purpose. Like I might think that somebody is horrible, but actually it's a really good defense mechanism. I might think that they're particularly selfish, but actually they're full of fear. And the way that I treat others is a reflection of the way that I treat myself. And I often can fall short with this, when I lack compassion with other people, and I can be quite blunt or rude or a bit cutting, it's because I've got low self-regard. Because ultimately, like, why would I be horrible to you if I'm not being horrible to myself? I'm not going to be horrible to you. Yeah, you were just talking about that. Talking about that. Done.
So that was part 2 of compassion. It's going to be our final take on this wonderful, I think, experience that all humans must experience. It's like, for me, this is the zenith. This is the best you can get as a human being, is to be compassionate.
Yeah.
To yourself and to others. When I leave my room, I have a little postcard by the light switch, and it says, "Be kind. Everybody you meet is fighting a hard battle." Over one's lifetime or lifetimes, hopefully it's not always a hard battle. But I think that when I say we have compassion for each other, it's about what Mike was saying, recognising that behaviours have a backstory.
Yes.
We all arrive here with the pattern that we were given from our parents. And a pattern is basically a set of behaviours.
Mm-hmm.
And you could argue that we have it from our previous lifetimes. This is why we've come in with those particular parents, because they can support the journey that we're on. This pattern, which we get from the pater, the father, within us, is going to be played out. You're in the perfect family, even if that family is the hard battle. But you're in the perfect family to do the work that is going to eventually bring you to compassion. There is a point when you are going to start making choices to experience different parts of your pattern if it is a hard battle. And for that to happen, ultimately, you're going to have compassion on yourself, because along the way, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to knock on the wrong doors to get the answers of why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to them? And so on.
Yeah, and that's about learning, isn't it? We're here to learn. This is a life of learning who we truly are, embodying this ultimate feeling of compassion and this way of being, in fact.
This kindness, this love that resides in us, that is a balm for the battles we have fought with ourselves and with others. Katrina was talking about that inner mean voice.
Yes.
I know that we've all experienced that.
I'm really learning to use compassion for myself. This lifetime I have spent a long time giving myself a hard time. You said something in one of the previous episodes, maybe the last episode, about using a bit of a hammer and
sledgehammer.
Yeah, and I just no, that's not helpful.
It's not
part of
work
the
either.
Pattern.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Compassion is the only thing that's going to work when we're very angry with ourselves and other people. Maybe we want revenge. It's just not going to work. It's only going to get Hagar on the job.
Yeah.
And to repeat the pattern over and over again.
Giving attention to what you don't want rather than what you do.
And this is partly why we decided to do this podcast and this subject, is because it is only going to be Sarah that is going to help us with that inner mean voice, that is going to flip that coin so that we can experience a different part of the pattern that we came in.
And the divine feminine part of that, for me at least, is that she is the mother listening to this inner child that does need and want that compassion. So when I go out into the world, I can interrupt any of those negative, unhelpful, unloving thoughts and say, imagine if I was that child, forgiving this baby of its mistakes, its tumbles, and forgiving others, seeing others like this. This is a person trying. They don't know. Forgive them.
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
As we said earlier, actually, in this episode, we're all entwined. Everybody is ourselves. We're all connected. We're actually all just one wonderful being. But because we're unaware of who we are, like we've got amnesia, a case of mistaken identity, it does seem like people out there are hurting us.
And not a projection of who we are.
And not
what
actually
we're thinking.
Part of the problem of attracting.
Yeah.
Not really saying that how I want to say it. Amit talked about mutual emancipation, and there's also talk of solidarity and compassion. This is where you are having compassion for yourself as well as compassion for others. Compassion is the thing that releases you from one's history of violence, violation, pain, loss,
this perpetual pattern of
lack,
Hagar,
longing, all of that. Compassion is looking at anybody who you maybe even despise and recognizing they have a story that got them from that innocent baby to where they are today. And without compassion, all we do is heap more fuel on the fire by not understanding that if I was them, I would do exactly what they'd done given their history.
Yeah.
And the way to go forward would be to, by recognising that behaviour, see how you yourself are perpetuating that experience in your own world.
Yes.
Yeah. Eury, you've got kind of acronym for us. You've got two sides of a coin, haven't you?
Yes, I have got two sides of a coin. I thought it was really important to acknowledge both sides here. I've got 4 C's for us. So this care ecology that Amit spoke about, and that's about cycles of calming, connectedness, creativity, that compassion is, and this helps us overcome this other side of the coin, the critical nature, the projection, stress, the suffering, the control, the hardness, this cutting low self-esteem that Mike talked about. Really, that's what compassion does. It flips that coin, that flips that script, so that you're much more loving and kind to yourself and others.
And it also reminds us about reminding oneself to be around people who are more gentle.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do want to finish with Desiree said, be kinder to yourself. Think of yourself first before the dog, the kids, the partner and the goldfish you don't have, and we're not going to get a dog and a goldfish.
Yes.
Yes. So I love that. That's the one that's going to stay with me. Maybe that's going to replace the postcard that I've got now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can see a piece of artwork coming out of that, Jenny.
Ooh, I like that idea. Yeah.
So Jenny, I just want to say thank you to you for all the work you've done in...
Could you say it a bit louder?
Jenny! Honestly, I want to say thank you to you for all the production work and the work you've done for putting this together, writing the scripts. I know we co-created a lot of this, but you really are behind the scenes.
Tapping away
and editing. What amazing people we've connected with and heard from.
I thought we were going to do maybe 10 people for an interview, and this goes back at least 1.5 years. There's quite a while ago since we started this project. And so here we are with 30 people and 13 episodes.
And so many of those came for me out of the blue.
Yeah.
We made a little list of potential people that we were going to contact, and then things just happened. It was really beautiful.
Growing.
Yeah.
It kept growing, which was fantastic. And then the sound bites, just people just willing to just do a quick skit and, just shoving the microphone in their faces, say something, say this, and they just do it. And it's just, that's also been wonderful and has kind of upgraded, actually, the podcast. When we go back to 2020, when we done the opening episodes in Mitcham, it was relatively low key.
Yeah.
But here we are, and I'm so glad we've got so many guests and so many people involved.
A whole collective of people. Beautiful.
Yes.
We really feel like we're part of a community. Not that we didn't, but that's clearly what we'd been imagining, and here we are.
Well, the Divine Feminine, I'm sure, has got a lot to do with this.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was going to be a movies season, and it's Divine Feminine season.
And I've learnt so much. How about you, Jenny?
Yes, this has been a swell sip.
A beautiful blend.
And a terrific tipple.
Cheers, Jenny.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Brew Crew.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us all the way to the very end, but there's a little bit more to come. So stay tuned, because we have one more Easter egg. Eury, you have one stick. You can't even shuffle that.
No.
But you have one stick left, and one woman of the Bible who is
Candace. Candice is so lovely because this is my sister from another mother that I've known for a long time. This is her name as well. So going out to my friend, and it's Candice, Acts 8, and this is the Ethiopian Queen.
Ooh.
Has a clear and clean heart, seeking love and purity. So we're being urged to have a clean and clear heart, seeking love and purity. Beautiful. Thanks, Candace.
And thank you. And we'll see you another time.
It's been really lovely. Yeah, it's the end.
It's the end. Bye.
Bye.
Thank good that's over. I'm off to put the kettle on and have a conscious cuppa.